Hello, you amazing people. Welcome back to RX Memes. First off the bat, I want to give a huge shout out to my first 3 commenters in my last video. And today's comment of the day is another one that made me laugh. So, today we are going to be jumping into r/ProRevenge just because I did have something else planned, but I did find some really good stories here, so I wanted to get this uploaded right away. And if you haven't subscribed already and you don't want people to get revenge on you, subscribe, because for sure 100% any of my subscribers won't be revenged. I can impersonally guarantee it. And let's get into today's stories. A client refused to pay, so I had some fun. When I have the time and come across interesting projects or clients, I take on one-off assignments to create websites, graphics, applications, etc. for said clients. I recently had a client for whom I created a website. Their old website looked like it was created in the early 90s, but it drew a lot of traffic, so the need to update was clear. Like always, we first agreed on the scope and design, and my client showcased his competitors' websites for me, explaining what kinds of things he absolutely wanted for his site, but better, as he put it. I then had him sign a standard contract and pay a small upfront fee. Everything went smoothly and I got to work. After the project finished and I sent an invoice to my client, he told me that he won't be paying anymore. During the few days that I had worked, he had watched some YouTube videos about creating websites, and he had come to the realization that he, without any prior experience in web design or programming, could create an equally impressive site in pretty much the same time as I had, and so he didn't feel like he should pay me anything extra. I reminded him of our contract, and he flat out said that I am free to take him to court, but he won't be paying me. Obviously, I had no intention of taking him to court because it would result in more headache than it'd be worth. But I wasn't just going to let this slide. The website was already live and teeming with visitors, but my client, although they were a newfound web design professional, hadn't realized that I was still the only one who had access to the site's backend, which meant that I could make any changes to the site and he couldn't do anything about it. So I remembered how he had told me about all of his competitors' websites. I figured the appropriate response would be to write a script that replaces his company's contact details and opening hours with those of his competitors. Every time the site would load, the script would randomly show one of the competitors' contact details instead. I also made it so that the contact form requests would be sent to a randomly selected competitor's email. I chose not to inform my client of this and went on to enjoy my vacation. Within a week, I received several emails and a call about my client's concerns that something was wrong, that he hadn't received a new client through his site in almost a week, even though the site's visitor count is much higher than before, thanks to the new design and improved SEO that he hadn't yet paid for. I let him know what I had done and told him that I would undo it, but it would take me about an hour, for which I would be charging. Since I was on vacation, I'd apply the rush fee stated on the contract for that hour. And of course, I told him that this would be added on top of the original fee that he owed me, plus interest for late payment. Naturally, this led to insults and threats being thrown in my direction, to which I calmly responded that I will begin work once I have the money on my account, and if he doesn't want to lose any more customers to his competitors, he'd best man up quick. He tried to call me immediately, and I just declined the call. After the second attempt to call me again, I sent him directly to voicemail. I received an express payment to my account the very next morning. Cheating ex came crying that I had ruined relationships for him, so I ruined his relationship. I don't know if this is the right sub for this. If it's not, I'm sorry. I was with this guy for a while until he cheated on me when I went to visit my family for my birthday. He was really nasty about it too. I found a condom wrapper, which we weren't using, and confronted him. But he started gaslighting me, telling me it had been there since before we were together and that I was being paranoid. I wanted to believe him, but deep down inside I knew that I didn't. One day he brought me back my spare notebook, which I was letting him use, until he had enough savings to get his own. He was so stupid that he hadn't even logged out of Facebook. I checked his messages on the day after my birthday and found out he had indeed cheated on me. I confronted him, and after initially lying to me again and calling me crazy, he eventually broke down crying and begging. But he saw himself as the victim in this whole story, and complained to all his friends about me breaking off contact with him when he was supposedly so in love with me. About a year later, I was swiping on Tinder when I saw him on there. I had been told he was in a relationship, and so I went to check his Facebook. Turns out that he was not only in a relationship, but he had cropped his girlfriend out of a picture he was using on Tinder. Even though I had not talked to him in a year, I had a feeling this might one day come in handy, so I took some screenshots and left swipe to get him out of my face. To my surprise, about half a year later, I get a series of weird 4 a.m. texts from him. He's saying that he changed after a relationship and that I broke his heart so bad that now he has trust issues in his current relationship. And that's somehow my fault. Of course, this is a whole load of BS since he was the one who cheated. But this is just the type of person he is. Nothing is ever his fault. I was going to answer, "You cheated on me, you POS." But then I remembered the screenshots. I go to his Facebook and see that he still has the profile picture with his girlfriend. And so I did the only thing any reasonable person would do, and sent her the screenshots along with the message, "I don't know what he told you, but I want you to know that he cheated on me." I later found out she dumped him too. Car dealer shop manager should have honored warranty. The revenge was more of a moment of opportunity rather than planned, but I am enjoying it all the same. The setup. About 25 years ago, I bought a car and also made the idiotic mistake of buying the extended warranty. The warranty was touted as a bumper-to-bumper warranty that included everything that might break. About 10 months into owning the car, it started exhibiting ignition system issues. I took it in and it was the coil. They replaced it at no charge and everything was fine. 3 months later, I had the same issue. Took the car back to the shop where I had purchased the car and told the manager what was happening. He said he'd check it out and asked me to sign a shop order just like last time. I get back to the shop a few hours later and the manager says it was the coil again and that I owed $158 for the part and labor. I asked him about the extended bumper-to-bumper warranty and his exact words were, "A coil is a standard maintenance part and the car is over a year old." Now I had owned several cars and I have never had a coil go out in a single one of them. I asked him about the fact he had replaced that same part just a few months ago and was told it had a 30-day warranty and it was no longer covered. I then asked to see the shop order I signed, and all I had agreed to was the $25 diagnostic fee. I told him to put the old part back in and I wasn't paying squat except the diagnostic fee to which I had agreed. When I pulled out my credit card to pay, he demanded the payment in cash. I was getting paid tomorrow and was poor back then, so I didn't have even $25 in cash at that moment. I called a friend and he brought me the cash. I got in my car with the manager shouting expletives at me. The car ran, but it ran really rough. But I was able to get it to an auto parts store. I bought a coil and installed it in the parking lot of the store inside of 10 minutes. The aftermarket coil costed me $12, and it lasted until the car died from being driven for 7+ years. I contacted Ford after that incident and the coil should have been covered by my warranty. They asked me if I wanted to pursue getting my $25 back and to have a genuine Ford part put in instead of my $12 aftermarket part. I told them no because the car was running fine. The opportunity. As you may know from my other post, I work in the computer industry. One of my clients is an auto dealership. Well, the shop manager moved on to bigger and better things and a new shop manager was hired recently. Lo and behold, it was the same guy that was the Ford shop manager that tried to rip me off. I never remembered his name back then, but I know it now. We'll call him Lenny. Well, Lenny was all smiles and obviously didn't remember me from that incident many years ago. For several months I worked on his systems in the shop and everything has been going great. I did notice he tried to pull the same shit he pulled with me on customers, but I stopped that by going to the owner. I told the owner about my issue with him in the past and that I noticed similar arguments when I was working on the systems in the shop office where the customers would pay. The owner said he'd watched the situation and it seems to have stopped. A few months ago, Lenny asked me if I could take a look at his home computer as there were files he couldn't access anymore. I said sure and asked him to bring it to work. I picked his system up at work and took it home. When I turned on the system, it was obvious that he had gotten one of the ransomware Trojans. I pulled the plug on the system and pulled the hard drive. I then called Lenny and asked if he had any backups. Amazingly, he did. I picked those up at the dealership and took them home. I told him what had happened and let him know that the best possible course of action would be to reload from scratch and restore from the backup, to which he agreed. I also let him know that to get everything loaded and working the way it should would run close to $400. He also agreed to that. I had him sign a work order indicating the price and the labor to be done. The revenge. I finished the reload and restore, and his computer is working flawlessly. I even installed Sofo's free Home Edition security software so that he won't have that issue again. I took an invoice to the dealership and it was a little over $450, tax and all. He took out a credit card to pay me and I looked at him right in the eye and said, "Cash only." Lenny looked a bit shocked and said, "I don't have that kind of cash at the moment, and why are you demanding cash only?" I looked him right in the eye and said, "Why did you demand cash only from a 20-something kid for a part that should have been covered under warranty?" He looked at me a bit longer and then recognized me. "You're the fucker with that escort." I just smiled and said, "When you can pay me cash, you can have your computer." And then I walked away. It seems Lenny hasn't been too successful in life, as it has been several months and I still have not received any payment for his system. I did send him a letter that he has another 90 days to pick up his system, or it will be sold or parted out to pay his outstanding balance. The last time I was in the shop, he asked me to please accept a credit card, and I told him to get a cash advance. Lenny deserved it. This is why you need to be a good person, because the universe has a funny way of putting you in situations where you're going to get your exact medicine. Alright everybody, that's it for today's video. If we learned one thing, it is to be nice to people, because if you're nice to people and a kind person, people aren't going to want to take revenge on you. And if you can't do that, well then just subscribe, because like I am personally guaranteed, if you subscribe, people won't want to take revenge on you. Okay, all of that was made up right on the spot, and it has no validity in real life. But if you liked today's video, I would love for you to subscribe, and I will see you in tomorrow's. Bye!